I'm with Lydia, my good friend, longtime friend Lydia, and we are live on Facebook, I believe, by way of Zoom. And Lydia is a traveler. She's going to take us on a trip today. You know what I need to do is move my screen up by the camera there, so I look at the camera. There we go. Oh, look at how professional you are. So you're going to take us to Nicaragua. You've been all over the place,
That's right.
hot countries, cold countries, and you love places like Nicaragua. And
Yes, I do.
you love going there to volunteer as well. So your vacation was a volunteer vacation. Can you talk about that kind of thing a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've been many places, and Nicaragua is one of the places that I've gone back to the most, and it's one of the only places out of every place I've been that I have thought about living. I think maybe someday I'll retire there, get a little beach shack or something. I just love it.
And as I understand it, you have free healthcare there, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but
Such as it is.
yeah. So yeah, I started going to Nicaragua when I was in library school at Simmons, because I'm a librarian. It's my day job, and I discovered that the first free public lending library in the country of Nicaragua was in this town, San Juan del Sur, and Simmons, the library school, was sending some librarians and future librarians down there to help out and volunteer. And so I kind of got interested in that project.
Cool.
And then I discovered that this same town, this coastal town, San Juan del Sur, is also the sister city of Newton, Massachusetts, where I happened to be working at the time. So it's kind of destiny. It was kind of fated that I end up involved with this little town. And I
show us some of the pictures of the kids.
Year after year. And the way that I first kind of fell in love with the place was through the public library. And there's this little public library in town, and they also run a bookmobile. And the bookmobile is really fun. It's a fun volunteer project because it goes out to these rural villages, these little tiny schoolhouses out in the countryside. And what they do is they fill up the back of this pickup truck with Rubbermaid bins full of books, and they have folding tables and chairs, and they show up at these little elementary schools with the books, and the kids are so excited. They line up, and they're so excited to return the book they had from before and to borrow a new one. And if you're a volunteer, you can go out on the bookmobile route, ride in the back of that pickup truck, and you can help out. You can help them set up and help them lend the books, and you can also do kind of story time with kids. You can read to them. You can play with them, play soccer with them at recess or whatever. So it's a great way to kind of meet some locals and see the countryside and see a part of the country that you wouldn't have just if you were at a tourist resort. That's really the thing that I like most about it.
How long was the volunteer that you did? A couple of weeks?
Yeah, I would go there with groups, with student groups or volunteer groups for maybe 1 week or a week and a half, 2 weeks at a time. And that's the nice thing about going on the bookmobile, is that it's a project where you can kind of just dip in, you can go and let the locals do their thing, let the local leaders who run it, the librarians there, let them be in charge, let them do their thing, and you're kind of there as an extra helper. Because realistically, what can you do if you're only there for a short vacation? If you can't stay for a whole semester or a whole month or summer or something, then you're not really gonna make any big drastic changes. But you can go and you can get a feel for the project. You can help out for that day or for that week, and it's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to see more of the lifestyle that you wouldn't normally see.
How was the lifestyle? A lot of fun. What are some major ways that lifestyle in Nicaragua was different than ours?
Oh wow! Well, in a lot of ways, it is a poor country. It's one of the poorest countries in our hemisphere. So that means that you're going to see a lot of poverty. There's a lot of people who don't have running water. There's a lot of people who live in places where they have dirt floors and outhouses and things like that. But because of that, there's such a tight sense of community, something that we kind of tend to lose in the hustle and bustle of our daily life here in the Boston area. But there's really close-knit communities where multiple generations live together, and it's really fun if you go there. Sometimes going on volunteer trips, you might stay in a homestay, stay with a family instead of staying at a hotel or resort. That can be really fun to kind of integrate yourself that way. You can do language immersion.
Do you have any friends that you made there that you communicate with still?
Yeah, I do. I have some friends that I've been friends with for many years, and some that have actually, a couple that have actually gotten to come to the U.S. as part of that the Sister City project.
Oh, wow.
Did they come?
Did they come to your house?
Not to my house, but to friends' houses, and yeah, that was something. I mean, people who really live in the countryside, and who had not often even left the village, never mind leaving the country, and who got to come to the Boston area and do some touristy things. And yeah, they their impressions of us were really interesting.
What were they?
I asked one of my friends, what they made of it all, what they thought, and the first two comments that he made were had to do with animals. For one thing, he felt bad for the animals because everybody, he was staying in Newton, and everybody in Newton walked their dogs on leashes. And he explained to me that in Nicaragua, they just let their dogs run free. And he was kind of bummed out that in Newton, they walk their dog on leashes. Right. And then, of course, everybody wanted to take them, the people who are part of this delegation from the Sister City Project, take them around to different areas, sightseeing and everything, go up to New Hampshire, go down to Cape Cod. So they spent a lot of time driving on the highways, and were also pretty bummed out at how much roadkill there was, and explained to me in Nicaragua, if there's an animal trying to cross the road, that they slow down and try not to hit it.
Right. I see that. And, go ahead.
Yeah, it was just interesting. I tell that anecdote because it was interesting to see when you ask about impressions. I thought, and a lot of the students that I used to work with, they thought that the number one impression would be, oh, you have so much technology. Oh, people are so wealthy. Oh, people, have such big houses. But, to my surprise, the top two comments were about how we treat animals.
Speaking of animals, in one of your pictures you took in the back, and I'll describe it carefully, is you're at a beach. And there are cattle on the beach, old cattle, young cattle, white cattle, brown cattle on the beach, right?
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, well, they're just walking around. There's a lot of farming and ranching, and so yeah, those are that's somebody's herd taking a little walk. You might get into a traffic jam like this one when you're on your way to the beach or some kind of sightseeing excursion.
How much do people grow their own food? How much do they depend on the store compared to us?
Oh, I mean, almost everything is local. When I'm there, I most of what I eat, fish, local meat, avocados, mangoes, fresh fruits, just picked off the trees outside. It's not completely self-sustaining. Obviously, they have markets and stores, but there's a lot more foot traffic at the local open-air market than there is in the supermarket. So everything's really fresh. Plantains, bananas, fresh, just so much fresh produce, and everything just homemade. You go and you sit at the beach at an outdoor patio restaurant and just get some fresh fish with plantains and local cheeses, even these specialties that they have there. Mm-hmm. There's they have one thing that I really like. I mean, I love seafood. I love any kind of seafood, but they have I think I have a picture of it. Yeah, these lobsters, these rock lobsters, little rock lobsters with a ton of butter. Oh, it's so good.
So are those French fries and carrots?
Yeah, French fries or maybe fried yucca.
Fried squash or
Yeah,
something?
those are French fries though.
And how's that lobster prepared? Is it in a batter?
I think that's just like really, really buttery, just some butter and garlic and lemon juice. You know, keep it simple.
Are those people there nicer than we are?
um, I would say, taking a canopy ride, I would say, in in my travel experience, I would say yes, but that's also with the caveat that I'm there, as a tourist, and they're certainly happy to have me spending my tourist dollars and enjoying what they have to offer, and so they aim to please. I think everywhere you go in the world, there's going to be nice people and mean people, and um, sad people and happy people. I definitely feel I love the hospitality in Nicaragua. I love the warmth and the openness, and
A lot of
some
beaches.
of it is
You
that.
love a lot of beaches. You love the beaches.
Oh yeah, I love the beaches. I love that. I like the heat. I know you don't like the heat. I know you don't like hot places, but hey, you jump in the ocean. Jump in
All right.
stay someplace that has a swimming pool. So you're fine.
Nice. So, how about the bang for the buck and the friendliness for a single female traveler? So, bang for the
Oh
buck
yeah.
first.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's such a great bargain destination. Your tourist dollars go so far in Nicaragua. A lot of people talk about Costa Rica. Costa Rica is popular because it has the same, very similar climate, very similar kind of natural beauty and wildlife and foods. Um, Costa Rica is a little more developed. It doesn't have sort of the checkered political history, so people feel a little bit safer in Costa Rica. But Costa Rica, you're talking more U.S. prices when you travel,
So like
and
$5 for a beer instead of one.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
But you
Going to
may have to
Nicaragua, you can spend if you want to spend $100 a night on a hotel, you're staying in 5-star
wow.
accommodations. I don't even feel like it's necessary to have that level of luxury. So $50 a night, you have 4-star accommodations. You're staying in a clean, safe place with and you're getting breakfast made to order for you every morning. You're going to have clean sheets. You're going to have your own private bathroom. You can drop it down. You can drop the price even lower. If you're in your 20s, if you're a backpacker, if you're really young and adventurous, you can go stay even cheaper than $50 a night if you want to basically be camping in some kind of a cabana, a hostel type thing on the beach. If you want to go there to surfing, some world-class surfing, some of the best surfing in the world, and you can go stay with other fellow surfers in one of these beach shack kind of things.
Did you go fishing?
I have not gone fishing there. It is very popular. That's another thing you can do. You can rent a charter. You can go out on a fishing boat, and that a lot of people go there for that as well. I've
And you
gone.
sorry, you mentioned a zip line, and I saw a picture of a zip line
Oh
there.
yeah. That was yeah the best. I've gone on zip lines in various countries, and Nicaragua has my all-time favorite. It's a place called the Flying Frog, and for $25, they come and they pick you up at your hotel or hostel, wherever you're staying. They come pick you up and they bring you there. And there's 16 platforms. You go up. You're in the jungle. You take a really nice hike up in the jungle, and as you're walking along, they'll tell you about the different plants and anything interesting you see. And there's monkeys in the trees, and just really, really great zip line course. Even better than the one that I did in Costa Rica.
So you've been to a lot of places that have different health concerns. Do you go to a travel medicine clinic to get all your shots, or how do you know what to get?
Yes, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on where I'm going. For Nicaragua and Central America, I tend to go and just from primary care physician ask for a prescription for Cipro, just in case something doesn't agree with me and I
Right.
feel sick. But I don't do any other vaccinations or anything.
So you
It's
don't.
not a place. You can look at CDC guidelines
Yeah,
and
I
you
did
can
that,
see,
and they said
um, they'll say country by
yellow
country.
fever.
Yeah, but where? You're talking about a whole country, right?
Yeah.
So there may be some spots where they have had malaria or there's been yellow fever, but someplace, on the opposite coast of San Juan del Sur, there are a lot of places that are more remote. There's some islands. There's some more jungle areas. But if you're going to a place that does have the infrastructure for tourism, then chances are you're going to be fine. Now, some places that I've been in Africa, for instance, it's been required that get different vaccines. If it's required, then obviously I do it. But I don't really go above and beyond what's required if I'm going to a place that I know does have a history and a track record with accommodating tourists. Then I feel pretty safe.
So you have some other photos. Can you burn through those and give us a little bit description?
Oh yeah, sure. This is just in San Juan del Sur. This is the chapel in the main square, very typical of kind of the old colonial style in Central America. Nearby, there's the city of Granada, which is a little bit bigger, and again, a beautiful town square with the cobblestones, pedestrian only, and they have little shops, and they have the town hall and the cathedral, all in these beautiful colors. That's something I really like. I love the architecture. You can see the colorful houses, and this is actually a picture of one of the homestays where I've had groups stay before, in a family's house with a homestay mom called Mama Sarah, who's a pretty amazing chef.
Ooh.
And love the beaches. I love the beaches. So yeah, surfing, fishing, or just being lazy and just going to the beach and ordering tropical drinks and eating great food. At night, you can go out and see some live music and see dancing. Sometimes they'll do these kind of things where they have cultural shows, and they'll do traditional dress and traditional songs, and that's great to do, at least once, to see some of the local culture and history. But then there's also things where you go to one of these beach restaurants, and they'll have karaoke nights, and they'll have fire pits on the beach at night, bonfires and things like that. It's just so much fun. During the day, you can do bird watching, or you can go do wildlife and hikes. You can go shopping, and you can the same thing. Your dollar just goes so far. You can go to Masaya, where there's a really beautiful volcano, and also these there's wonderful markets where you can get handicrafts, and you can buy a hardwood handmade hardwood rocking chair made in Masaya, $50.
Jeez, and you got to ship it back though.
Yeah, but they thought of that, so they made it collapsible. It's
Oh,
hinges,
wow.
and they put it together in such a way that you can dismantle it and put it together and ship it home.
Do
You
you
can
have
get homemade hammocks. You can get pottery. Just so many amazing things that are really, really a lot nicer than buying something. If you need gifts, Christmas gifts, you can buy really beautiful handmade artwork and be supporting local traditional artisans for just several dollars for something,
do
instead of
you
buying something at Walmart.
do you have a favorite cocktail that you like to have it when you go down in that area?
Oh, um, Nicaragua is known for flor de caña rum, so I definitely recommend getting a rum drink. Now you can get a beer, tends to cost maybe $1, and also a glass of rum, a little shot of rum costs about $1. But then of course you can also get mixed drinks with that. You can get they call it a Nica Libre, kind of the same thing as a Cuba Libre, but Nicaraguan style with Florida Caña rum in
Tell me
particular.
about a dish that's really local and kind of unique to that area to eat.
Oh, well, there's naca tamales. Tamale, it's a tamale. So the, corn meal stuff, whatever tamales are made of, wrapped in the banana leaf. But it's stuffed. It's a naca tamale has extra stuff in it. And it's such a special dish. It's only on Sundays. There are little naca tamale stands or things. There are ladies in town who make naca tamales, but it's especially on Sundays that you order those.
You said that that's really a place that you feel you could live in. Why Nicaragua as opposed to other places in the area?
Well, I guess, it has to do with some of it is just serendipity. It happens to be a place where I've gone and gotten to know people, gotten to meet people, and where I've had these incredible opportunities to, get beyond the walls of a tourist resort and learn a little bit more about culture and the people and the history. So there's that familiarity. But the cost of living is very favorable, and because of that, there's a community of expats who I think are kind of like-minded. There are a lot of expats who are living there and are also very involved in some of the volunteer organizations. There's, in addition to the Bookmobile and library project that I also mentioned, there are organizations that do a lot of public health work where people can go down and help make water filters, make eco stoves that vent smoke outside the house so that people aren't getting asthma and respiratory diseases. So I've worked on some of those projects before, and there are a lot of people on the ground there who are helping with those kind of endeavors. And it's a really, really great group of people down there. And I've just found it really easy to get from, go to Miami, and then you fly from there to Managua. And when I first started going down there, I mean, it took about a full hour longer because the roads were so bad, but they've improved the infrastructure. And I feel like it's a really easy place. If you know, especially knowing a little bit of Spanish, if you know a little bit of Spanish and you can, ask for things that you need. And if you're savvy and you're not gonna, get taken advantage of, then it's just, there's so much opportunity there. I love the weather, the food, the people, the fiestas, the holidays there. There's so many great things going on.
Lydia, thank you great presentation, man. That's really great. The photos are great. The whole stories are great. Thank you very much.